Admiralty Inlet was considered so strategic to the defense of Puget Sound at the turn of the century that 3 forts were built at the entrance with huge guns, creating a triangle of fire that could stop any invasion attempted by sea. Fort Worden, Fort Flagler, and Fort Casey were built around 1900. These fortifications were part of the harbor defenses of Puget Sound. They're owned by the state of Washington now, and Fort Worden was used as the backdrop for the filming of the 1981 hit Officer and a Gentleman.
As we're here in Fort Townsend, quite the history in the area. The fort was built to protect the new settlers to the Pacific Northwest from the Native Americans. So the soldiers were housed here with barracks built along this bluff. And next to them was the officers' quarters, three houses, single-story houses. And of course, right here on the bluff was the commanding officer's quarters, which was a 2-story house that was much larger, of course, than the others. A lot of the soldiers were redeployed during the Pig War on San Juan Island, which is about 10 miles northeast of here out in Puget Sound. And that's a whole nother story where the British pig destroyed the, I guess, US farmer's garden. And that ensued a whole nother problem. And that's a story for another day. But Fort Townsend today is primarily a camping RV state park. Sits right along the shores here in Puget Sound, and it's a beautiful place to come camp, hike, bike. The other notable thing is the trees. Several of the trees were planted by the soldiers in the 1850s, and you can see behind me here this tree, as many of them are, huge 170-year-old trees from back in the day, still thriving to this day. This is the beach at Fort Townsend. Across the way there is the town of Port Townsend, Washington. It's like perhaps a pulp mill. And this is part of the Fort Townsend that we are staying at. Across the way there is Indian Island, which will be there in a couple of days. Not by swimming, but by car.